Hi, everybody. Welcome to YouTube Live. My name is Milijana Mori, and with me I have Jelena Stefanovic, who is an incredible woman living in Belgrade, Serbia. I'm here in Split, Croatia, and we're talking about the power of true self. But before we start, I would love, Jelena, for you to introduce yourself because you are a multi-dimensional woman that does dancing. You have a PhD in dancing, um, incredible movement therapy. You're a Reiki master, various forms of master, theta, bars, healing. So I would love you to introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm really glad that we are here today to spread the consciousness, the words about the true power, the power of true self. And exactly what you said, I think that we are all multi-dimensional beings. And I really have a lot of interests in so many stuff. I research all the time, all my life. So, yes, I am a dancer. I am a writer. I am a producer. I am a lot of things. A translator. I really have so many interests in everything. But when we talk about energy, when we talk about healing, when we talk about all of those popular techniques, uh, I would rather put it in one word, and that is facilitator of consciousness.
Ooh, I love it. I love
Yeah,
it. So you
yeah,
facilitate for the people you work with, and then it's basically them.
exactly. Because I really think and believe that we all know everything. We know what is true for us, and we are so filled. May I put that word right? With so many programs, beliefs, points of view that really don't belong to us. So, if you, for example, have a friend that just asks you a simple question, it turns the world upside down, and you
True.
say, "Wow, yeah, wow! Couldn't I remember that? How couldn't see it earlier?" So that is exactly what I do. Ask the right question.
And that could be one of the secrets of life when we ask ourselves the right questions. Our logical mind and our subconscious mind and unconscious mind will start looking and scanning for the answers. So one of the biggest differences in my life was upgrading my questions. Instead of asking why me, why is this happening to me, when is this going to happen, I started asking why is the questions, in a way like, what can I do? And I can do this. What are my options? Who can I ask for help?
Yeah. And what question can I ask? And
Yes. And
yeah, yeah, because you mentioned answer. For example, our logical mind tends to ask for solutions, answers, definitions, conclusions, calculations, projections, and everything. But I think that we are just locking up, right, ourselves with all of this. It's limiting, and we are infinite beings. So, with of possibilities that we really can't remember if we just look at that way to put it in some kind of form or structure or something like that. So I think that the question is an answer.
very. And before we move on to the power of true self, I would love to know, Yelena, what what drew you to all the techniques that you chose? What drew you to do a doctor's, a PhD in Oriental dance, to become
Yeah.
an author, radio host? You have a lot of YouTube videos in Serbian with meditations and healings. You do workshops. what is it? Like, what if someone is listening and like, how can they recognize that there is a little voice inside of them that is part of the true self? And then like, how does it sound? How did it sound for you?
Yeah, the thing is that when I came here to this planet, I realized that most of those things really they don't belong to my truth. I didn't feel it here, and actually, I thought that everything was upside down. That everything was uh, the opposite of what it's supposed to be. So, but you know, you have to go into that process of fitting, accommodating, I don't know, adjusting or whatever. So, my really inner self asked for something different along the way all my life. So that was something that brought me into all of those books, techniques, seminars, researches, and everything. That was the reason because I didn't feel okay. I didn't feel complete. I didn't feel satisfied. I wasn't happy, actually. I felt really stuck and blocked. And most of the time, I couldn't breathe with all the capacity I have. So that was that motivator inside that simply brought me to that way to research, to ask, and to look for something different. How can it be when it really can be differently? When our world can look completely different than it is now. What can I do as an individual to create something different? You know, what is my contribution? What is the knowledge or the power or the energy or the talent or whatever it is, you name it, whatever you like, to contribute to make the change? And you know, when you start to talk to people, most of them, they just feel the same way. You know, you have so many people that have houses, that have jobs, that have good relationships, earn so much money and everything, but they are not happy. They feel empty.
Something's missing. Something's missing,
Something
and
is
they
always
don't know.
missing. Yeah. Yeah. So I couldn't accept that something is missing. I knew that there is everything is here. I just have to ask the question to see it because it is here.
Yeah.
It's not true that it is missing.
And the right question can also sometimes be, who who am I really behind all the childhood programming, the cultural programming? Like, who is my true self? And I feel that this is where the emotions come in handy, or instincts, intuition. But you know, when you feel at peace or you feel good, or when you do something, you love it. Like, you, if, for example, certain people love this or have a hobby for this, other people love this. And this is an indicator for you to know, if I do this and this gives me joy, this is part of my true self. If I do something else and I hate it, this is not part of your true self. This is something that you think you should do to be part of the society, to be accepted by your family and your friends, etc., etc. But if you do something that, yes, maybe it gives you money or it gives you status, but you feel empty, you wake up angry and you fall asleep angry, and there's something, there's emptiness, it's because you're not living in your true self. That means you have accepted, consciously or unconsciously, you've accepted the roles that someone around you gave to you. So, you know, the father wanted you to become a doctor or a lawyer, or the mother wanted you to become a good housewife. And you just, to make them happy, you killed your soul, and you killed your true self, and you became not your true self, which is fake. It's fiction.
Exactly. It's somehow the way of cutting yourself. You know, you cut this part because of your boyfriend. You cut the other part because of your child. You cut this third part because of your parents, or the job, or your boss, or wherever. So you lose yourself, or kill yourself, or whatever.
Yeah.
uh,
Or forget yourself. Sometimes it's a process of remembering, isn't it?
Yeah, so I passed through that process, and I really felt bad. I felt like a zombie, really.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. I
Yeah,
can relate.
and when you, for example, see something, but you really don't experience it in your body.
Mm.
You cannot feel the feeling or the emotion, and you know that you're supposed to. So you get the information that something's wrong, something is not like it is supposed to be, and that was the those inner motivators, or whatever, inner voices that brought me to ask for more. What's wrong with this, or how can it get better? To
Yeah.
open myself and to be really what I am. And when we are talking about this, I would like to point of one thing, that we really have so many definitions of what's right, or what's wrong, or what's acceptable, or what's not. So even when we are talking about the true self, the term that is usually used is the term to be special.
Mm.
And what does it mean? It means that you have to compare yourself with others. Because if you're special, you're comparing yourself, and you are better or worse than others. But every person is unique.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, and it brings complete different energy when
Yep.
you say that. So that is why we are talking about authenticity, how to be authentic.
Yes, and I googled definition of authenticity, and it's basically being genuine, being real, and being original. Which what you say is being unique. Like we all have a unique fingerprint, and we are born unique. Has never ever been a human in history just like you, and there never will be. It's just the way nature works. And if you look at, when we grow up, it's easier to copy paste what the media tells us is acceptable, fashion wise, behavior wise, which school to go, which university to go, what type of, man or woman to date and marry. And then there comes a moment of being courageous, and you will step on people's toes. Meaning, when you choose, it's never too late. When you choose to become authentic, when you choose to become real, and who is the real you? It's the you when you are by yourself at home. It's the feelings you feel when you're by yourself. There must be at least one person in your life where you feel comfortable being yourself, being open, being, whatever you think you can say, and you feel comfortable sharing it. Not everyone deserves your story. That's a different thing. Not everyone deserves your deepest secrets. Some people do, but just being open. This is who I am, and some people will not like it because you taught them your role. And then anytime we change something, there will be, a little bit of chaos until things settle again.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And for example, when you consider that from that part, that we are all space, energy, space, and consciousness. But when we talk about space, if you need a space to spend some time alone, are you really authentic? That was the question that I asked at some point when I felt, drawn by others. When you uh, um, and you can't have that feeling of having your space when you get tired, when somebody bothers you, and then I noticed that most of people, when they are in the presence of cat or a dog, they don't need the time to spend some time alone.
True.
Because your pet is accepts you the way you truly are, without expectations. But when you're around other people, you meet with their projections, their expectations of what you should be or shouldn't be, of what is right and what is wrong. And then you're really tired and you need
Yes,
some space.
heavy. It's
Because,
heavy carrying a fake mask.
yeah. So, in that, from that point, are you really being authentic in their presence? If
And
you get tired.
yeah. That is so true. That is so true. The Japanese say that we all have three faces. The one is for the public. The second one is for the people that we allow only very close, so a very small number. And the third mask, only we know. So there might be a part of us that we will never ever communicate. Like that's a Japanese saying. But basically, that when we are who we are and what we do, if it overlaps, and who we are when we are by ourselves and who we are when we are with people, if that is quite close, then we're coming to our true self. Because a lot of people ask, who are you? And we say, I'm an athlete, I'm a teacher, I'm a mother, I'm a this, I'm a that. So we identify with the roles or with the jobs, but this is not the answer. This is like, who are you? And it can't be answered like that. There's a lot of people, they don't go into deep reflection because sometimes they're afraid what they're going to find. We try to suppress any emotions we don't want to feel. We try to suppress even thoughts we don't want to think. And that's why a lot of people numb themselves down with alcohol, drugs, shopping, sex, or any other, addiction. Just going to the shopping center for hours and hours on end, and you just switch off your brain. You don't have to think about your problems. So, your emotions are one of the best indicators whether or not you are living your true self. And that means if you, like you said it beautifully, Jelena, like it's like people around us have expectations of ourselves, but sometimes it's us projecting that we think they expect something from us. So we expect, a lot of women do, like perfectionism. I want to be a fantastic career woman and wife and lover and mother and I don't know, volunteer and blah 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 blah, and author and dancer. And when we have so many interests, there's a reason. There's always a reason why we are drawn to something. And one question that really can bring us closer to our true self is like, what did you love doing as a child? What did
Yeah.
you want to become? What did you want to become as a child?
Yeah. I wanted to play. To play and to invent something and to play, to be together with other people, to have joy, feel joyful.
And you do, workshops, you're dancing, and you're creating books, and you're creating words and blogs, and you speak three languages perfectly: Serbian, English, and Spanish.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was really young, I was in the bathroom with a brush and I was pretending I was talking in a microphone.
Yeah, cool.
And I became a radio host, and you too.
Yeah, I was that too. But when you said about who we truly are, I was with my kids at cinema. a long time ago, 2 or 3 years, something like that. And we watched Kung Fu Panda. And it was very interesting because it is a cartoon, it's for kids. But it brings you a message that is really for all of adults to remember the answer of that question, because Kung Fu Panda was lost, completely lost. He was in search of his real father or something. I don't quite remember the story, but he was depressed with the fear. He had a lot of doubts in himself. But the story says that he is the only one who can save his village, and anyone depends on him. But in order for him to do that, to achieve that, he has to move his chi. And in order to move his chi, he has to remind himself to remember who he truly is. And it's some kind of a circle, And he asks question, who am I? Who am I? I don't know, I like to eat this, I like to. And at some point, he remembers that he is nothing of all of those stuff, and he's everything. And that's the moment when he really moves his chi. And he saves the village and everything. But it was wow. Yeah, because when you say that you're a dancer, that you're a speaker, that you are this or that, you limit yourself with the definition and you identify yourself with the role, but you are everything of that and nothing of that and more.
Yeah. And when you define yourself, identify yourself with a certain role, when the role stops existing, it's a very painful experience,
Yeah.
until you realize, oh, this was an identity. My identity is, dying, or I have to create a new one. I had the experience as a professional athlete where, um, you know, have national records in weightlifting and powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting in Croatia, in Western Australia, and went to international championships and set national records. And at one moment, because I was overtrained, I was tired, and I let my ego push me, I injured myself at the competition, and I injured my spine. And with that, my professional athlete weightlifter identity just crumbled. And I had a month or two of like, well, if I'm not a weightlifter, everyone knows me, I'm an athlete. Everyone knows me, I'm a coach, So who am I? And the greatest pains in my life, physical pain, emotional pain, they led me to my true self.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really led me to my true self.
Yeah.
And I had to slow down. You don't have to have those painful lessons. Reflection and meditation can get you the same way. I like it dramatic, so I had to break my spine and stuff like that.
Drama queen. drama queen. We are all drama queens and kings.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be that way, and eventually, but this is what wakes us up. Sometimes it's a message, if you believe in some bigger energy, something that, maybe it's time to reassess your path. I generally get sick or injured when I overdo it, when I don't sleep enough, when I say yes to everything, when I feel overwhelmed, and I forget to slow down. Because I like doing 100 things. And so for me, the challenge is how do I slow myself down? How am I okay with not doing anything? And now I'm catching myself much quicker. And I know that I actually enjoy being quiet and by myself and reflecting and reading. And I also enjoy being with a lot of people and being out there, and that's like you say, we don't have to be just one thing. We can be everything and nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, but the real question is, what was bringing you to that point to over something? you know, that those are all of those beliefs we have on subconscious level, that we have to push some limits to prove ourselves, to um, show others that we are worth of something, that we deserve this or that. So if we have to deserve something, that means that we judge ourselves at some point,
Yes, yes. And
estimate.
if we're honest, it comes from not feeling worthy or good enough. But no
Yeah.
one wants to admit that. Like I can admit, like, well, maybe I
Mhm.
didn't feel good enough. It's just the way I was, so I had to lift ridiculous weights.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And for example, people usually ask me those workshops, seminars, and during the individual sessions, how can I make a difference between the voice of intuition or the subconscious program belief or something? How can I recognize that? So, from my point of view and from my experience of drama queen for a long time, my book tells tells everything that I was a really good drama queen in my life. As you said, it really doesn't have to be that way. So, what I came to the knowledge or consciousness, I open that space for me and in my life, is that you only need uh, to have a great connection with your body, because your body tells you everything you need to know, and you should ask your body for everything that it is related to the body. What would you like to eat? How long would you like to sleep? With whom would you like to make love? Um, or what would you like to dress? Everything that is related to the body, uh, you ask your body to tell you. And the body has intelligence. Every cell has intelligence, but we really deny it, you know? Oh, I can't remember now. I'll took some from refrigerator or something. I don't know. I'm in a rush, and you deny it. And then you come to the point, when problem or your body makes something that really uh, bring attention to that, where you are really wrong or not subtle to your body in that way. So that's the first thing. You cannot make mistakes when you listen to your body. And the other thing is to follow the ease. When you have a sensation of ease, when you ask a question, that means that it is something okay that is true for you. If you think of something, you have a dilemma or something, what should I do? What decision can I take or something? And if you have heaviness while thinking of it, it's not a truth for you. It is subconscious something. And if it is that it's your intuition, something that is truth for you.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree. The difference between intuition, like like you said, like what's the difference between intuitive hint, which is exactly right for us, for our true self, for development, for our soul, or something bigger, and what is just pure suspicions based
Mhm.
on all fears and limiting beliefs, like I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it. And I have also found that when intuition comes, it's the first it's the first instance that comes, and it comes very gentle, like like butterflies. It's very soft, very gentle. It's not a strong hit in the stomach, And it feels like, you can do it, but you don't have to. But here's, but it's the first thing. Like the first thing, like when you want to pick three different, jackets. And the first thing that like a little spark, like, oh, that you remember, that's the one. And then after like milliseconds after, that's when the ego and the doubt and the fear come. But the first thing I found is, and it feels softer. There's no judgment. Whereas ego, fears, and doubts, they come with a lot of heaviness, especially here in your solar plexus, in your jaw, and your throat. And you just feel heavy, and you feel heavy and confused in your head. And that's not your intuition. That's not your true self. That's the programming, the limiting beliefs, the fears that are still there. And the great thing is they are coming and showing up because they're ready to be worked with. They're ready to be let go of. So through continual self work, it's like emotional, spiritual hygiene. You brush your teeth every day. You gotta work on your emotional, mental hygiene every day as well. You can't go, to one, either one therapy or do one journaling, and you're done for the rest of your life. It's That's life. Life will have new problems. Life will have new injuries and challenges and lessons. And I think that's when we expect that the beautiful goal could be like having an evolution of problems and peeling off anything that is not our true self. And that comes through self work, working with other people, doing energetical work, physical work, scientific work like writing, handwriting, or journaling. Journaling has been proven to be incredible therapeutic to let go of trauma as well, PTSD and confusion. Like when I started journaling, pretty much every day, I felt more clarity.
Yeah.
And I realized I was writing about crap. I was complaining. I was worrying, and then I came to a point. It's like, my God, you just like you worry about this, you worry about that. You're like, how do you want to feel? And like, what do you want to do? And so I switched because you become aware of what's going on. Like, and then so be grateful for all your negative emotions. They're just feedback. They're just a signal that you're not going to where you want to go. Change what you're thinking about. What are you thinking about? You're probably worrying about the future, or you are, still feeling bad about the past, which you can't change.
Yeah. I think that you can change past by being present in the now.
Oh, that's nice. That's true.
Yeah.
And you can heal the past too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You,
Because
you
I
might not
think
be able to change the events, but you can change the emotions and the meanings around it.
exactly, exactly. You cannot change events, but you can heal the past, but not by traveling there, you know, but just being present. And I think that in English language is very interesting that because when you say present, it means the present tense, but it also means the gift.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's really interesting the game of the word. So I think that being present, it is your gift, to be in now, and that by being in now, by being present, that you can heal the past and the future because
Yeah,
everything is now.
that's so
there is
true.
no
That's
there
so
is no future and there is no past, and everything is now because of the space I mentioned. When you have space, when you have a separation, you need some time to cross that path from point A to point B. But when everything is one in the now, you don't have that space and time, you know, to spend on that traveling.
That is so true. And what I found very interesting is that we will all experience incredibly sad and traumatic moments in our lives. But scientifically, a trauma should only last for 18 months. That's 1.5 years. Anything that's longer in your system than 18 months, it has been stuck. as a trauma and it has not been processed, you know. So 18 months of grief is quite normal. So a year and a half of, grieving some heavy loss, that's really normal. But anything longer than the 18 months mark, that is time to start working on it, to let it go. And if you can't do it by yourself, with the magic of the internet, there's so much help out there, and there's so much wonderful books and practitioners and modalities and therapies. And so just think about that. If you're still carrying something with you that lasts longer than 18 months, your body is ready to let it go.
Yeah. And there are so many misunderstandings of that because, for example, have read so many times that people say, "Oh, it cannot be healed. I will never forget. The consequences stay forever," or something like that. And it's really not true. What you said scientifically is what you said proven that it's not true. So, but the point is that as a society, humanity on the whole planet, nobody teaches us how to deal with our emotions, and we learn so many stuff, crap, you know. they they
Oh,
constantly,
mine is too.
yeah,
I
yeah,
still
but
feel sad.
yeah, yeah. But for example, what do you learn in school? It's a huge amount of information that you use never. you know and for example, that part regarding related to emotions, nobody teaches us that, and it's essence of our human experience. And it's all about emotions, energy, emotion. So
Yes.
what we do instinctively is to hide, to draw back when we experience something. We hide, we contract, and the real thing is in accepting, because every emotion brings us some kind of a message. We never talk to our emotions. I get rid of most of my fears by talking to them. you know what do you want to say? Not running away and hiding, because then it is always there in my energy field.
Yeah. What you
But
resist resists. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but when you sit down and say, okay, now I'm here with you, what would you like to tell me? What is your message? What kind of a gift are you to me? What can I do with you? How can I transform you? And it's really incredible what you can find out about that fear, that emotion, or anger, or whatever, and that part of you, because it is you. So you cannot really be true self and step into the power of true self by running away, neglecting, denying, resisting, hiding, contracting, if you don't do that.
Yes. Going through the darkness is the quickest way out.
Yeah.
It's
And
so
facing
true.
with your shadows is the best light work you will ever do. you know?
And someone yesterday told me about, some people that learn to love the
Mm,
problems, the shadows, and they call them shadow dancers.
really? Interesting.
Um, let's be shadow dancers. And so what I found is the purpose of depression, and when we do draw back, is to learn something from it. One incredible psychologist, Jordan Peterson, he spoke about crabs. Two crabs have a fight and one loses, and withdraws back. If you put serotonin in them and some hormones to like pump them up, he goes back out and fights straight away. But the purpose of the depression was natural. He draws back and it gives him time to recover and to learn. What's the lesson here? How can I be a better crab fighter and win next time? So if we constantly like pump ourselves up with some stimulants that keep us up all the time, we don't allow ourselves to sit with the fear, sit with the anxiety, sit with the depression, and learn from it. Like this is the message. Learn from your negative emotions. There's always a message. There's always a gift. All my horrible moments made me a better person. I became more aware. I became less of a drama queen. There is a purpose of pain.
Yeah, but for example, I heard from one woman. She told me that when she prays, she asks for a lot of courage, a lot of strength, and a lot of patience to deal with her problems. And I asked her, but what exactly do you think that you will bring into your reality with that prayer? And she looked at me, but I pray to God to bring me, courage. Yeah, but if you ask for a courage, if you ask for a lesson, if you ask for strength or patience, you will get more situations and more people where you will create that. More courage, more fight, more patience, more whatever. I asked for a patience once upon a time. and, and it was a disaster, really, because I think that every person on this planet is complicated and tough and heavy came into my reality because I asked for the patience. So I think that actually we don't learn or we know, but we get stuck with all of those definitions and everything,
Yeah.
We really have to be just open and to follow the ease and to ask what we truly want,
But
ask
instead of
for it.
sorry to interrupt, but instead of praying for courage and for patience, what would you suggest? Express gratitude for what is, or express gratitude for what will be?
By accepting, by acknowledging, just seeing the things that really are the true nature of emotion, event, situation, person, whatever, just by seeing it without projections, without expectations, that's the moment when you can transform something.
Mm.
If you ask for that, you will bring more of those stuff. So what would you like to create? What is
I want to create ease and fun.
Yeah. And when you ask for ease, fun, adventures, joy, you will bring more of that stuff, no matter in what form, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you will create more of that. So at some point, I really get rid of all of those forms and structures, and I really ask this: more adventures, more joy, more ease, more light. It really so many people came to me So really, oh, I don't care about this. I don't care. Oh, and everything is so easy and joyful, you know? So
I
no
love.
matter how can we call it or something like that, in what form we can put it.
Yeah, yeah. So this is like, this is what I guess our message is from Jelena and from myself is, the true self. It's not easy, but it's worth it to go to the path of letting go everything that is not you, things that we took on as a cultural conditioning. That's fine. But I mean, to summarize, like what stands out for me is authenticity and living the authenticity, whether you're private or whether you are with people, as good as you can. Of course, you might have to be a professional, and knowing the difference between intuition when it feels light or when it's some fear or limiting beliefs that feels heavy.
Mhm. Uh, for example, there is one question that it can be asked um, to overpass or whatever, to put the logical mind away aside
Yeah,
is if I make this decision now, if I make this choice now, how would it be in the next 5 years? What is the sensation that I get in next 5 years in my life? Is it fun? Is it joyful? Is it with ease? That is something that your logical mind cannot project, cannot calculate. And you really rely only on the sensation you get.
I love
So
that. Good
yeah,
question to ask.
yeah,
Like
that's for
if I make
example
this
the
decision
question.
now, yeah. So let's have that for for our next few days. Let's ask ourselves a question anytime we are faced with a decision. If I make this decision now, how will I feel in 5 years' time? What will I see? What will I feel? And then listen to your body's sensation. If it's neutral, probably doesn't matter. If it feels soft and light, it's probably a good decision. If it feels heavy, it's a no.
Yeah, yeah. And if you feel contracted or if you feel pain
Go to
somewhere in
doctor.
the body,
No
yeah.
joking.
Or not only in your body, a person can perceive heaviness around the body, somewhere in the space. So you have to ask the question, is it mine? You know, what can I do with it? But that's the main question, or not being complicated
Yeah, I love
more.
it. I love it.
So
And that's
what
something
can
we
I
can
choose
focus
now
on.
to create ease in 5 years?
Yeah, yeah. If you were with us, Jelena, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your love and your knowledge. Live from Belgrade, I'm live from Split. The magic of the internet, wherever you are in the world. Next time, I would love to speak about trust. I mean, like, how can we move into a deep trust? Trust for ourselves, trust for others, trust for life. And I'd love to speak next time also. I'd love to know about, more about what you do. Like, what is Reiki? What is Theta? What is bars? What is dance therapy and the workshops you work? So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward the next time.
And we're sending you a lot of love
Yeah,
from beautiful Jelena in Belgrade. My name is Milijana, and we'll chat soon.
yeah. Bye.